boys and girls. We hope you had a good week, and it's good to be with you again this morning as we continue our study in the big coloring book of Bible stories. Today we're going to talk about a man named Noah. Many years after Adam and Eve, there were now many people in the world. But these people did not listen to God. They were disobedient to God. Just as Adam and Eve had been when we talked about that last week, when they ate of that fruit of the tree in the garden they were not to eat of. These people too were disobedient to God. They stole from one another. They beat one another up. They did not worship God. They did not follow Him or listen to Him. They went their own way and did whatever they wanted to do. They were wicked. They were evil. And when God looked down upon them, His heart was very sad. Very sad. Because He had made them to be special and to be His sons and daughters and walk with Him. But they denied Him. And they turned their backs on Him. And so God was very sad. And He said, I'm going to destroy them. I'm going to start over. Men and women are not doing what I asked them to do, that we could love one another. They're not doing that, and my heart is deeply sad, so it's better if I begin again. But there was one man who did love God. There was one man who did listen to God. There was one man who was obedient to God. And his name was Noah. And Noah had a wife and children, and they were married. And God came to Noah because Noah was faithful and Noah loved God. And God said, Noah, I want you to build a big ship. It was called an ark. And boys and girls, you know our church. You can't be there today because of, you're at home and we're not having Sunday school at church. But you know the size of our church. And do you know the boat that Noah was going to build was even bigger than our church? Can you imagine that? It was even bigger than our church. And it took Noah years to build that, but he and his sons were faithful, and they did that. And it was such a big boat because God not only wanted to save Noah and his sons and family, but He was going to save two of every kind of animal. The giraffes and the lions and the elephants and the dogs and the kitties. A male and a female of every animal was going to get on this boat because God was going to send a big flood. A huge flood of water that would flood the whole earth, and then God would begin again. But Noah was faithful, and he built that boat, that big ark, and he got all the animals, two of every kind, and brought them onto that ark. And then the rains came, and the skies opened up, and it rained like you had never seen rain. The skies just poured out water, just flooded. and the water began to rise, but Noah and his family and the animals were in the ark, and as the water rose, the boat rose with them in the water, and it got higher and higher and higher. And imagine the biggest mountain you can think of. The water even got higher than that mountain, so that everything that had been on that earth died. But Noah and his family and the animals were safe in the boat. And in time, that water went down again. It went down, 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 until once again the boat was on dry land. And then Noah opened the doors of the ark, and all the animals and Noah and his family went out. And they went through the land, and God began again with new life. But God did a wonderful promise. Do you remember, boys and girls, have you ever gone outside after a rain? And sometimes when you look into the sky after a rain, what do you see? A big rainbow. You see a big rainbow. That's a promise from God. God told Noah and his family that never again would he destroy the whole earth. Never again would there be a huge, huge flood that would destroy everything. Yes, we still have floods today. People's homes are swamped with water and sometimes are underwater. But it never is such a flood that destroys everything. That rainbow is God's promise. Whenever you look into the sky after a rain, see that rainbow, remember God's promise. He'll never again totally destroy the earth with a big flood, because God loves us and he cares for us. Enjoy doing your lesson today, boys and girls, and I'll see you next week. You're in my prayers. God bless you.